worship. And bathrooms are open right now. Once we go into worship, the bathrooms are closed, and we shouldn't be getting up. Have fun. Woo. Okay, so we're going into our first game. Okay, so basically the game, you have lifesavers, and lifesavers. Cody will represent lifesavers.
What the heck is that?
A lifesaver. What?
You
I'm sorry. We're stacking this, and yeah, if you're way far behind, you can slide one across the table and try to knock your opponent's tower over. Okay, so the people that we told could play the first game, come up, if you remember. Okay, no. Who did we say for first? Your first game. Okay, we got 3 people there. Who did we go?
Who else did our guy was playing?
Your second game. Your first. No, your second game.
You two are first.
Yeah, you two are first. No, not you. Get out of here. Yeah, you two. Peyton, you're on there too. Yeah, probably. Okay. Me? Okay, we're gonna go introduce our contestants. Okay, let's introduce the first person that's going up on this team, on this side. Kinley, I guess you're going. Who's the first person on this side? Who's going first? You're going first? Okay. Name, grade, and school.
Name Billy, I go to gas station, I'm 36.
Name, grade, and school.
My name's Grant, I go to CCA.
Okay.
Everybody.
Oh, everybody. Okay. Okay, what's your name, grade, and school?
Tessa, 6th grade, and Stanley Middle School.
Woo! Your name, grade, and school.
Kinley, 6th grade, Cramerton.
Name, grade, and school. I'm Peyton, I go to North Jackson, I'm in 11th grade.
Name, grade, and school.
My name's Aiden. I'm in 8th grade at Cramerton Christian.
All right, here's the rules. You guys got to stand back by the foosball table. You may not be up here. You guys got to stand back by the foosball table. To start, the person who is going has to be touching the foosball table. All right? When we say go, you guys are going to have 60 seconds. All right? What's going to happen? Listen, shh. First person, you're going to run up. You're going to grab a lifesaver. You're simply going to set it on the table. You run back as soon as you touch the foosball table. Next person, you still have to touch the foosball table. You're going to run up, and guess what you're going to do? What are they going to do? Stack them on top. All right? You're going to stack it on top. You're going to run back. Third person, you're going to run up. Sounds easy, right? Except it's going to get up. If you get behind, if your team is way behind, you're the team could say, hey, don't stack. You can only use one lifesaver. You can either stack it, or you can try and slide it across to, you can slide it, oh, don't use that. Yeah, put that joker up. All right, do you guys understand? Every time you run to the table, you only stack one lifesaver, and then you run back, and the next person goes. All right, are we ready? Oh, y'all, you didn't even fuss. I gave them a three head start. And I broke one of theirs, so I'm going to eat one of theirs. All right. Who ate one? You ate one? Son? That means they have less. All right, here we go.
Go!
standing.
Hey, y'all both get the lifesaver instead. Go get the lifesaver. Now guys, quiet down, please. Y'all, who's all signed up for camp so far? Get your camp registrations now. It's happening right now. Only 70 total spots. Over half are claimed so far. And awesome, y'all. Alright, so the unaltered tour is coming in March. Invite a friend. Use our awesome invite card. Cost just $6 and check out this video.
Hey, I'm Luke.
Hi, I'm Anna. Hey, I'm Jay.
We're here to tell you about the unaltered tour. So we're actually on the road right now. We're coming to a city near you. Now we would love to be able to share with you our event that's filled with testimonies, comedy, dynamic worship, and great message filled with how living in God's unlimited design will bring freedom and fullness of life.
So come join us to find out how we live this out and how you can too. For more information and tickets, go to unalteredtour.com. See you later.
Yeah.
Game time! What is it? Another game. We already got people picked.
Hey, the people that we said for the second game, come on. And we need 4 on each team. No, you're not in it. No, I said we couldn't pick you. What's the
We need one more person. Never mind. Name, grade, and school.
School Celeste. My name is John. I'm in 7th grade and I'm going to CMS.
I'm sorry, and I gotta see an answer in 7th grade.
My name is Fletcher. I go to CMS and I'm in 7th grade. My name is Kenyon. I go to PMS and I'm in 7th grade.
And name, grade, and school.
I'm Lila. I go to Cramerton and I'm in 6th grade. I'm Isabel. I'm homeschooled and I'm in 6th grade.
I'm Sydney. I go to Gaston Christian, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Ryan. Go to 7th. I'm in 7th grade. Go to Holbrook.
Alright, guys. The rules of this game, the name of this game is Missing Words. And the rules are we need 10. So you get in a line, and one person from each team will come up to the table. And there'll be like the sentence on the screen. Can you find the missing word that connects these 3 things?
Do it.
Yeah, do a sample.
See if you guys can do this.
Alright, you got to look. You got to look.
Sun, school.
Cardboard.
Let's see if it's the word box. It's the word box.
That's what you do. Okay. So each person come up.
Who's up first?
Okay. You got to take it. Yeah, it's like Jeopardy. I mean, it's like Jeopardy. Yeah. You got to slap the table. Family food. That's it.
But, they get it right?
The other person gets 500 points.
No, if they get it right.
No, if the other person gets wrong, the other team gets pressed with points. But if they get it right, the other person gets 1,000 points. Alright, let's see what's first. Marks. Alright, let's see what's next. Make sure you don't say the answer.
They got 1,000 points.
Hey, let's see what's next.
This is the wedding band.
Yes, I think.
Yeah. 2,000 to 1,000. 2,000 to 1,000. Alright, let's see what's next. What is that? Brother. Oh. Now 3,000 to 1,000. You got that not to lose. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
You gotta know it. Girl bear. Talent bear is what they mean.
Oh, I know this one. Yeah.
4,500 to 1,000.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I know what it is. Anybody idea? You can yell it out. Yell it out.
Animal.
Sheep, animal, outdoor,
Next one. Golf. Be quiet, please. Thank you.
volleyball.
You guys know who Princess Buttercup is, right? Where's Princess Buttercup from? Huh?
Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls.
Did someone just say all of
We got more.
There's a tiebreaker, but
Let's just do the tiebreaker for fun. Because
Wait, they won, right?
They won.
or anything like that.
No on your phone. Yeah, turn off your phone. Don't get on it. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, give it up for our girls hosting tonight. Woo! I tell you, it's a lot cooler than me being out there. All right, everybody, direct your attention in here tonight. Our band's getting ready to go up on stage. They can go ahead and start making their way up there. We're going to watch a video. We pulled this video out a while ago and watch it. I'm going to ask you guys to do this. Again, I know that we've come in from school, it's raining, we've been playing like crazy, having some good times, having fun. But at this point tonight, I'm going to ask you guys to do kind of what they just said. We don't need to be running back and forth to the bathrooms. No need to do that. If you have your phones, be respectful. Part of the culture that we have here is that during the music and during the message, you don't have your phone out, okay? The world will be there in 45 minutes, hopefully. And if not, we're all going to be with Jesus anyway. If you don't know that for sure, we can deal with that today, all right? So put your phone up. We're going to sing some songs. Look, I know you know these songs. I know you know these songs. You know what's funny? After 180 weekend, I had some people come up and they said, man, I wish we could do this more often. How many of you guys would love to do 180 weekend like a month, right? Hey, you know what? Every single week, look, every single week, you get the opportunity to come. You guys can come up on the stage. You guys can sing at the top of your lungs. When that drum hits, you can jump up and down every bit as much as you do when 180 weekends here. Every bit as much. You have an incredible privilege in that, man, this church loves you guys so much. They've invested in a place that you can come and do stuff like this where our student band can get up and lead. So I want to challenge you with this. Don't wait until 180 weekend comes next year and decide that you're going to sing, decide that you're going to jump, decide that you're going to worship with everything you are. Do it tonight. Because I know that they're going to sing songs that you know. You guys are going to sing a song that we don't know. Is that right? One song that you're going to learn. So you get the opportunity to learn. As long as you don't stand on these tables, you guys are more than welcome to come up here. But look, don't come up here to have a conversation with your neighbor. Come up here to sing along with this band. Or if you sit in your seats, that's awesome too. But sing, worship, get ready to hear what God has to say to you. Let's pray. God, we love you. Lord, as we watch this video, Lord, as we think about Isaiah 53, I pray that you would speak to our hearts, prepare us for worship. And Lord, that when the band begins to play, I pray that you would make with us a beautiful sound. Lord, as we sing to you, Lord, we love you and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Check out this video.
right, guys, go ahead and stand with me. Let's worship the Lord this evening together. Breathe beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my due. Till I'm begging. Breathe in the night of life. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my due. Till I'm ready. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. Mercy saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The only you, Jesus, when I say you called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I breathe. I am a future, my eyes are open, just when you call my name. I ran out of the grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. Every single breath, as broken hearts of death is free. For who can stop the Lord Almighty? of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the lion and the lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before him. So now looking at the dead, make ready for the King of Kings. The God who comes to save is here to set the captives free. For who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. And every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before him. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? 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 Who can stop the Lord? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before him.
We're about to sing a new song, and as we sing this song, I just want you guys to just think about Jesus' ultimate sacrifice and how that is love displayed itself. He is the ultimate standard of love. Nobody can love like him, but we try to love like him because that's what we're called to do. He has been the perfect example of love for everybody. In John 15, it says, there's no greater love than to lay your life down for a friend. And that's exactly what Jesus did. So as we sing this song, I just want you to think about how Jesus is the ultimate standard of love. Once and for all, he showed the way, a glimpse of his great glory. He is the love display, grace and justice now collide. He is a ransom paid, the flesh and blood alive. His kingdom come, and he's the one great miracle, like the sun. Here's a love display for all. Come taste and see. Our King is God. All that we need, He freely gives to us and on the cross. Once and for all, He showed the world. Our God will not be conquered. He is a love display. Grace and justice like the light. He is a ransom paid. Of flesh and blood light. He is King come. He's the one great miracle, shining like the sun. He is a love display for all. Love display for all. And when they lifted Jesus high, upon the cross He died. Upon the cross He died. And when they lifted Jesus high, upon the cross He died. Upon the cross He died. But now we lifted Jesus high, because He is alive. Because He is alive. And now we lifted Jesus high, because He is alive. Our God, He is alive. He is a love display. Grace and justice like the light. He is a ransom paid. Flesh and blood alive. He is kingdom come. He is the one great miracle, shining like the sun. He is a love display for all. He is a love display. Grace and justice like the light. He is a ransom paid. Flesh and blood alive. He is a kingdom come. He's the one great miracle, shining like the sun. He is a love display for all. Love display for all. Love display for all. Love display for all.
Amen. Let's go ahead and bow our heads and just go to the Lord in prayer before we enter our service time. Jesus, thank you so much for being the ultimate example of love, Lord. I feel like the world tries to define what love is so often, but Jesus, we have the ultimate example. We have the God of heaven who loved us so much that He sent His only Son, not to pay a price that I could never pay for a sin that I committed, Lord. The Bible tells us that you have never known sin, Jesus, and you never will. But we stand here tonight, Lord, a people filled with mistakes. Lord, filled with days and weeks where we have not honored you. But God, you are a God of love. You are a God of forgiveness. And we just thank you so much that you chose to come and display that on the cross of Calvary because you love me.
Jesus, I pray that you would be with this group tonight. Speak to their hearts, Lord. Help their minds, their hearts, their lives just to be open to what you have for them, Jesus. We love you so much, and we thank you for the opportunity to worship you. In your precious name, amen.
What's up, everybody? All right, so gotta be on the table. Hey, can you help me out real quick? Go to the other side of this. We're going to slide it over towards the football table real quick. There you go. Man, Donnie, why you got to throw shade, man? That's not nice. Donnie, come on. All right, so guys and girls, we have been walking through for a couple weeks now. Series on something I know that all of you are just so excited about. Dating. Thank you very much. Dating. And tonight, we're going to get real with it. Not that we haven't been real before, but sometimes you get on a subject that is so very much in your life that you just kind of sit up and go, wait, has Cody been talking to my mom and dad because this is the stuff they've been talking with me about? No, we have not talked to your mom and dad about anything. But the truth of the matter is that the message that we're going to talk about tonight is very, very important for everyone of you to listen to. Now listen, I know that as we talk about dating tonight, not all of you are in the mode of, hey, I want to date somebody right now. I get it. I get it. But the time to learn to drive a car is not 10 minutes after you got behind the wheel and you're out on the interstate going 70 miles an hour, right? You probably ought to learn how to drive that car a little bit beforehand. So we're doing a series called Meant to Be. And honestly, this is a message series that a lot of youth groups in the country right now are doing. A lot of youth pastors that we talk about stuff and we bounce ideas off of each other. And so this was a conversation that a lot of youth pastors, this is important for us to talk about. But I like this thing called Meant to Be because we like this idea that one day we're going to be with someone that we're meant to be with, right? I mean, that's ultimately the hope. Some of us are more articulate about that. Some of the guys are going, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. Whatever, Cody. No, please, son. You want that just as much as anybody else. And you probably have, at maybe 7 or 8 times in your life already, found the one that you were meant to be with, only until you found out they fart too. You know? And they're normal people. I'm going to tell you something. Every single one of those people that get up on stage and sing songs and play guitars and do all that, then we go to their concerts and we go, you know, they go back in that green room and they got nasty stuff in between their teeth. They wake up, they got smelly breath. They just like every other person on planet Earth. All right? But, you know what? I'm going to tell you straight up. Real love. True love. Like, that's right out of that movie too. Love. Whoa, love. That's okay. By the way, it's The Princess Bride, y'all. Come on. The movie. All right. I digress. Real and true love is absolutely incredible. And whether or not you're in a mode where you're thinking about that or not, or right now you're saying, I don't even know I want to talk about this stuff right now, I'm going to tell you something. I want to give you a vision. I want to give you a vision that doing this thing the right way is completely worth it. I want you to take a look at, now please don't talk through this because I want you to hear the words that these people say and how they interact with each other. I got a video that I want you to watch, but I want you to internalize your thoughts and then we can maybe talk about it afterwards. You guys cool with that? Check this out.
were both born in the same hospital.
1921.
7 days apart.
In the same hospital.
We both grew up
We
one
both
block
lived
away
in
from each other.
tenements.
On the Lower East Side.
On Delancey Street.
My family moved to the Bronx
We
when
lived
I
on
was 10.
Fordham Road.
Hers moved when she was
I lived
11.
on 183rd Street.
For 6 years, she worked on the
I
13th
worked for a
floor
very
as
prominent
a nurse,
neurologist.
where I had a
The federal
practice
nurse.
on the 14th floor, the very same building.
Federal nurse.
Never met.
Can you imagine that?
You know where we met? In an elevator.
I was visiting
in the
family.
Ambassador Hotel in
He
Chicago,
was on the
Illinois.
3rd floor. I was on the 12th.
I rode up 9 extra floors just to keep talking to her.
9 extra floors.
But he was the head counselor at the boys' camp, and I was the head counselor at the girls' camp. And they had a social one night, and he walked across the room. I thought he was coming to talk to my friend Maxine, because people were always crossing rooms to talk to Maxine. But he was coming to talk to me. And he said,
I'm Ben Small of the Coney Island Smalls.
at that moment I knew. I knew the way you know about a good melon.
Okay, so that last part, I don't know. So I knew the way you know about a good melon. You know, I don't know. If your mom is a great grocery store buyer, ask her, say, how do you know about a good melon? I don't know. But let me just tell you, that first couple, they were born, they lived a block away from each other. They worked one floor apart from each other in New York City. All the way growing up, they were like one step away from each other. And did you hear where they met? In Chicago. 9 extra floors. Wow, that was so cool. Hey, listen. Listen, you know what the amazing thing listening to them, listening to those stories is? They're old people. They're old people. Do you see the love they have for each other? That's the kind of love that lasts a lifetime. That's what you want. That's what you're going for. But you know what? The world, listen to me, look at me, young people. The world is offering you a cheap, fake substitute. And I don't want you to buy it. Don't. So again, as we talk about this tonight, I understand that a lot of you maybe aren't in the position, maybe your parents right now are saying, hey, you're not going to date until you're like 45. That might be an exact, how many of you, that's kind of the thing that your parents say? You're not going to date for a long time. All right, so as we talk tonight, I get that. But I want you to write down, we do have notes back there, the thing to write notes down. You guys want, there's some of this that you're just going to want to take with you. For me, I know most of you probably don't know the story between me and Christina about how we met and all this stuff, but I had a moment when we were just friends, right? It wasn't really the friend zone because we were going out and doing stuff, but we were going out as friends and doing that. But there was one day that I took her to the park to go play tennis. People, is that what you said? I was going to go play tennis. Do I look like a tennis player to you? Everybody said, no. Thank you, Colby. I appreciate that. Look, I don't play tennis. You know what I did? I went to Goodwill and I found an old nasty wooden tennis racket and a tennis ball that looked like some dog chewed it. And we got in my little hoopty car that barely could go, smelled like antifreeze all the time, and we drove to Peaks View Park in Lynchburg, Virginia, and as we're pulling into the drive, we're pulling into the parking space, I'm looking at Christina, and I was head over here, she was fine. I was like, man, I am sharing a car with this girl right now, and she's not running for her life. So I found out later she got really bad eyesight, so that, thank the Lord for that. But listen, I had this moment with her where I watched how she interacted with her family. I watched how she treated people. I knew the kind of person she was. And she was a good friend, and I was extremely attracted to her. And I had this moment when we pulled into parking space that I went, in my head, in my brain, I looked over and I had this feeling, even though I was a kid and I had never been married before, I looked over and I felt like, wow, like I could see doing this for the rest of my life, pulling into parking spaces and looking over and seeing her right there. You know, so don't do that. Don't do that. Because the next thing I did was really dumb, okay?
What did you do?
You know when you're thinking something in your head so much that you make an audible noise and somebody goes, what? So I looked over and I put it in park and I went, huh, like that. And of course, ladies, the guy goes, huh, what are you going to say? What's that for? So she did it. She said, what's that for? And I said, nothing. And then when the guy says nothing, you go, it's something. You got to tell me something. You don't tell Christina it's nothing because she's going to figure it out. Young ladies, if you ever go to Christina for advice, she will get the mess out of you because she's just good like that. She's awesome like that. God has gifted her with the ability to extract information from you. And she did. She looked at me and she said, you tell me right now we're not going to play tennis. I really want to play tennis with her. I wanted to be seen on a tennis court with that woman right there. And so I said, okay, but you're not ready to hear this right now. You were just friends. We'd only known each other a couple months. I looked over her as I'm getting out. You know when you're like planning your escape when you're about to say something? I looked over her and I said, I'm going to marry you one day. And I closed the door, and as I closed the door, she goes, oh, you think so? Like, I was freaked out, but y'all, this year we're going to be married 23 years. So what? Like, how do you get to that point? Like, how do you get to the point? Our life, like, there's a lot of people look at Christina and I and they go, wow, you guys are married. It's like the perfect thing. We're far from perfect. We got our ups, we got our downs, we got our goods, we got our bads. A lot of stuff that you guys will never know about. Why? Because we deal with that together. We are a team. We're partners. We love each other. Where does that kind of real love come from? Not just kind of says, oh, she's hot. That stuff, it doesn't last for very long because when you start belching and squeezing toothpaste from the middle, you know, you better have a lot more than good looks to last a long marriage. You guys understand? I think it was John Mayer said, if you're pretty, you're pretty. But in order to be beautiful, you have to be a loving person. Otherwise, it's just congratulations about your face. I mean, seriously. Looks are just looks, and that only lasts for a little bit. When somebody is an ugly person on the inside, they're going to be ugly real quick. So I want to ask you a question. I need maybe 3 or 4 responses for this. I need help from you guys. So now that we're starting to talk about dating and marrying and stuff, I need you to help me out. Maybe help your neighbors out here. Just a couple people by a raised hand. Give me some descriptions of what the perfect person, the perfect boyfriend, perfect girlfriend would be like. All right. We started off on the right foot. A Christian, a follower of Jesus. What else? Tall. Okay. All right, come back. Okay. Selfless. I thought a person said selfish. I said, no. Selfless, absolutely right. Yes. Listen, guys, we just learned something right now that if you take this away, she didn't just say respectful. She said respectful to parents. If you try and align yourself with someone who is not respectful to their parents, they will never be respectful to you. Somebody that doesn't care about your size or your weight. Good stuff. Sure.
Okay, so first of all, he needs to put his beliefs above everything.
Beliefs above everything.
He needs to have a good job.
Have a good job. You ain't gonna have no freeloader, right? I can be tall, okay? Common sense. That's a good one right there. All right, last one, Isabel. All right, she said somebody who cares about you, puts your needs first. Somebody who is not looking out just for them. All right, we're going to move on because I want to ask this question. Of all of the values we just said, look, I respect them all because it's all okay to have these ideas. I noticed that we didn't have too many of the guys saying, hey, this is my perfect girl, even though I know you're thinking about that stuff, fellas. I know you're thinking about it. But the question that you got to ask is the things that I'm putting down for the person that I'm looking for, Like, how do you think that those things line up with God's values? Now listen, the stuff that we talked about, how do they line up with God's values? That is important. How reasonable is the description that we're putting down for the people that we want to be with? Like, is it reasonable? I want to talk tonight before we go to groups, because I think group discussions are going to be fun. Yeah. Good leaders are like, yeah, let's do this. But listen, we got to start with Scripture, because we're going to talk first with who not to date. Because I told you we're going to get real tonight. I told you we're going to get real. And so I need you to listen to me, because sometimes kids come to me and they ask me a question about if they should or they shouldn't, and I will share with you what Scripture says. Don't ever say, Cody said I should or should not date this person, because I'm always pointing you back what the Scriptures say about what your decisions are. Okay? Like, if you come to me and say I'm dating somebody, I'm never going to say you're wrong, but I am going to ask certain questions about that person. Scripture says, if you're writing notes, I want you to write this chapter and verse down. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. We're going to look at verses 14 and 15. The Bible gives us a lot of general guidance about the type of person that you should be looking for, but there's one specific passage that I want to read. Verse 14. Verse 14 says this, listen up. Don't team up with those who are unbelievers. How can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? How can light live with darkness? What harmony can there be between Christ and the devil? How can a believer be a partner with an unbeliever? And what union can there be between God's temple and idols? For we are the temple of the living God. Look, come to me and say, hey, I've chosen to go ahead and date. Do you think I should date this person? First thing I'm going to ask about that is, do they know Jesus? And you know what a lot of kids will come up to me and say? Well, first of all, I get a lot of I don't know. And I say, absolutely not. Like, I can't even believe you're attracted to somebody that you don't even know what they believe about Jesus. Like, physically, yeah, but what do they believe about Jesus? The second thing I get is this. Yeah, I think they are, because they go to that church across town. You know what? There's a lot of people that come to this church too, and they don't know Jesus from Muhammad. They just don't. It just happens that they attend this church. Just because they attend the church doesn't mean they have a relationship with Jesus. You guys understand that, right? So because somebody goes to a church doesn't mean that they're a believer in Jesus Christ. Before you ever make a union with somebody, before you ever begin to date somebody, before you ever connect yourself with somebody, and this is even carefully how you choose your closest friends, not just your boyfriend and girlfriend, the people that you are the tightest with, is you, number one, know what they believe about Jesus, and you put your tight circle right around you as only people who are followers of Jesus. The Bible says you cannot continue to walk in a direction towards Jesus if the people that you surround yourself with are going in another direction. There's always going to be conflict there. And if you're going to try and date somebody, dating somebody is a lot of work. When everything is right. When you are a believer and this person is a believer and you begin to walk together, guess what? There's going to be conflict there too. It's very, very difficult in this day and age. It always has been, really, because of sin, to be united with somebody else when you are walking in the same direction. It's impossible when you're different. So, are you allowed, or what does the Bible say about dating an unbeliever? It says don't. Don't do it. It's plain and simple. I told you it's going to be straight up, right? I told you we were going to get real right here. So it says this, and maybe it seems harsh, but the Apostle Paul isn't suggesting, listen, because I want you to hear this part too. I want you to be clear on this, because I love your friends, and I love when they come here. And I love people who love Jesus, and I love people who don't love Jesus. I love people. Why? Because God first loved me long before I loved him. I'm not suggesting that, and Paul isn't suggesting that you judge or that you ignore them or that you feel like you're superior to them in any kind of way. He's just saying, don't team up with them. Don't partner with them. Don't tie yourself to them in an intimate way. And this is never more relevant than when we're talking together about dating. Dating is already pretty difficult. It's complicated when you both share the same values. It's going to be tough. Tougher when you don't. Now, I know that when I did, I saw it on your faces. Some of you guys are thinking about that cute guy, that cute girl that you pursue, but you know they don't love Jesus, but they are really cute. Can I just overcome it? What happens, Cody, if I date them? What if I date them and they become a Christian? That's a good question. Thank you for asking that question, because I know, I see this all the time too. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. If they started coming to church with you, how can you be sure that their interest was because of God and not you? If you date and then break up, what do you think is going to happen to their faith afterwards? If the reason that they came in the first place was because of you, and then suddenly you said, I don't think your face is pretty anymore. Oh. Man, the whole relationship to Jesus has been tied in the fact that they're romantically involved in you. Well, what about this? If your motive is to truly introduce them to Jesus, because that's where we started with that, right? If your motive was to truly introduce them to Jesus, why couldn't you do that as a friend? Are you doing that already with your friends? So why does the Bible give this instruction? Whether you like it or not, the Bible is pretty specific on that. And it says, don't become relationally tied to those that are non-believers. And I know this, I can tell by the weight. Leaders, did you feel a weight just come down on the room when we talked about that? Everybody's like, ah, oh. You know why? You know why it's a heavy subject? Because you know it's a big deal. Dating others is a big deal, and many of you are struggling. Am I doing the right thing? So I want to talk to you a couple things. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. I'm going to jump back to the Old Testament. I want you to write that down on your sheets. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. Proverbs are a bunch of short phrases that help us navigate life. Proverbs 1:5 says this. It says, let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those with understanding receive guidance. I know some of you come in and you talk to your parents and they try and give you instructions about dating. You say, you know what? I know it already. You can't tell me anything. I know what you said at youth group, but I know this situation better. You know what the Bible says? As wise as you are, young people. Look, adults in here, as wise as you are, adults, Cody standing up here, as wise as I am, guess what? I told you I've been married almost 23 years, and every single day I learn a little bit more about how to be a good husband. Sometimes I learn what makes a bad husband, too. Just being real. When it comes to our dating relationships, we absolutely have to continue to grow in wisdom. When it comes to your dating life, you can show wisdom, you can show discernment by thinking carefully not only about how you date, but who you date as well. So here we go. I want you to maybe write this down. I'm going to put this on social media, but this is kind of thought that we're going to go from here with this. Dating on purpose means that you know who you're looking for. Dating on purpose means you know who you're looking for. We already talked about who we aren't looking for. I mean, that's taken off the board. You don't date an unbeliever. So you got this guy, you got this girl, and you say, they are a believer. Whether it's now or whether it's when you get to college or after college, whenever you really believe in talking with those around you that you are ready to date, and we talked about that already, there's a couple things that I want you to think of. A couple things that in order to know who you're looking for, you got to set high standards for the kind of person you want to be with. And then keep those standards. You say, nobody's perfect. You're absolutely right. And some of the standards that you set, ladies that you said, I want a tall guy, perfectly fine to say that. That's perfectly fine. But you know what? God may rock your world when some 5'2" gentleman walks up that loves Jesus more than life itself. Wait a minute. You heard that last part, right? That loves Jesus more than life itself and demonstrates love in a way that no other guy has shown love. You might go, you know what? Tall what? You know, that's just the way it goes. So here's the thing that I want you to focus on. These are things that are non-negotiable. You guys know what non-negotiable means? Like, this doesn't change ever. First, that you're compatible spiritually. You're going to look for somebody you're compatible spiritually with. What this means is that you're on the same level and you're supporting each other's spiritual growth. Now again, I'm going to put these on our social media. I already did it for our high schoolers so they can go back and look because it's a lot. The second thing is that you're compatible intellectually. It means in your brains. It means you like to talk to that person. It's not somebody that when they call you, they should call you. But when they sit down and talk to you, they should sit down and talk to you. Text should be like the third or fourth thing down the list. You know, maybe Snapchat, no, that should be like never. So it energizes you. What about this? You should be compatible emotionally. Isabel, you said something about this that I really liked. That when you are with them, you feel cared for. You feel understood. You feel supported. Somebody that cares about you, not just cares about having you. You guys understand me? They care about you, not just having you. You're not property. You're not something to be owned. You're not a trophy that they get to put out and say, look what's mine. No, they care about you. Somebody that you're compatible socially with. You're not embarrassed by them when you're with friends or when you're with family. And the final thing is this. Now listen. Don't freak out when I say this, all right? Because the high schoolers could just not about handle this. So just wait till I'm finished. The final thing is that you're compatible physically. Now this is why I say that. When I say you're compatible physically, that means that you, from the very beginning of your relationship, even in the friendship, you set healthy boundaries. And you learn to express affection in ways that don't compromise those boundaries and your values. Anybody that would push their affection on you in a way that would compromise your integrity, that would compromise your modesty, that would compromise who you are, that's not somebody that loves you, that's somebody that wants to own you. Okay? You guys got me on that? Anything less than that is not acceptable. You set those boundaries and you stick by them. So, let's move to the future because we're not even talking about dating right now. We are talking about dating, but we're not talking about dating right now. You guys got me on that? Say that you get into this relationship and it's a godly person and things are going well, and you go, it's not working out. What do you got to do? Break up. And y'all seen people break up and they just a mess over that stuff. They just hurt. How many of you guys see people break up and then it's all over social media, the subtle stuff? How would you guys learn a little secret on how to do this right? Look, you guys want to learn a little about how to do this right? Because I want you guys to be models of Jesus Christ in your relationship, and especially if you have to end the relationship. So here's a couple things I'm going to give you first. Every dating relationship is going to end in one of two ways. Every single relationship only has two possible outcomes. First is you break up. Second, you get married. Okay? It's going to end in one of two ways. So that we know that. You need only one successful dating experience. So don't settle too early. Breakups, that's why I say limit the amount of times you date, because you don't want to get in the habit of just dating and then breaking up and then dating and breaking. You don't want a lot of practice in breaking up because it's not fun. But I'm going to tell you how to do it well. First, be personal. First, be personal. What do I mean be personal? Break up face to face. Don't break up over text message. Lord have mercy, don't break up over Snapchat. No. Listen, no, we're not. We don't have 2 seconds. We got to go to group. Talk about it in your group. Look, that got stuff. You got a lot to talk about in group. Second, don't look them in the eye. Look them in the eye. Don't ghost them. Treat them with respect. Listen, even if you're mad at them, even if they did you wrong, listen. Treat them as someone who deserves to be loved because they are loved by God. Demonstrate. Second is be kind. Tell the truth, but speak in love. Don't give them a fake reason for ending. It's not you, it's me. Now don't do this stuff. Once you break, all right, high schoolers got really worked up over this one. Once you break up with them, stop texting them. Nope. When you break up, stop texting them, stop calling them, stop liking their pictures. It may not have to last forever, but it does have to last for a season. Be kind during and after the breakup. Speak only, listen, speak only positive words about your ex. Only. The Bible tells us that. This isn't Cody's, the Bible in Ephesians 4:29 tells us, don't speak these words of bitterness. It doesn't do anything except hurt you. Don't speak anything ugly. Don't talk about them with your friends. Don't talk about them with anybody. Just let it go. Even if they're being a total jerk, take the high road. And then finally, be respectful. Keep things private, but not secret. Keep things private, but not secret. What I mean by that? Private, keeping it private, is how you honor them by not sharing the details with anyone who doesn't need to know. Don't talk about your stuff with everybody. Don't slander their name with everybody. Don't talk about it. What I mean by not being secret, secrecy is keeping the details from everyone, including the people you trust. Talk to the people that are close to you. Talk to the people that are pulling you towards Jesus. Finally, we're gonna go to our groups, but I would be bad if I left you with who don't you look for, who do you look for, how do you break up, if I didn't say this. If you're going to marry someone that looks like Jesus, someone that is worth dating, you need to be someone worth dating. You need to move yourself into a place where you're pursuing Jesus. It's important to know who you're looking for, but it's more important to be the kind of person worthy of the person that you're looking for. If you want to be in the kind of relationship that we talk about that feels like it's meant to be, then you need to be someone who, number one, loves God. You need to be someone who is in love with God first. We learned a couple weeks ago a relationship with Jesus will make any relationship better. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. Follow his commands. Pursue wisdom and Christ-like living. You love God. Second thing, you need to be someone who loves you. Listen, do you hear me on that? You need to be someone who loves you. We talked about it several times in the series, in these series. God about it several times in the series, in these series. God has created you uniquely, and this is an important statement here. If you want a healthy relationship with someone else, you need to have a healthy relationship with yourself. If you want to have a healthy relationship with someone else, you have to have a healthy relationship with yourself and the identity that God has given to you. If you're insecure, if you're lonely, if you're unhappy with who you are, a relationship will not fix it. Only you and God can fix it. If you're not healthy without someone, you will never be healthy with someone. And the last thing is this. You need to be someone who loves others. Dating is not all about you. It's a partnership. It's a relationship. And a relationship with another person. A person made in the image of God. A person that is loved by God. And a person that is cherished by God. If you're walking into a relationship focused primarily on what you can get from it, you shouldn't be in the relationship. Be someone who loves others even more than yourself. Guys, I know that was a lot. I'm going to put the basics of what we just talked about. I'm going to put it on our social media. If you're on our Instagram, I'm going to put it in the story. Okay? So you're going to follow the notes. All that stuff I just put in there, I'm going to put it there. And I want you to think about it. We're going to go into our groups, and we're going to ask some questions that have to do with this. Look, this is the time to be honest. This is the safe place to ask questions. This is the place to talk through these things so that you can get it right. And that when you go into college and when you go into the relationships that last forever, you're not carrying baggage of how it was broken on the way up. You guys go with that? All right, let's pray. God, we love you. We thank you for the opportunity to worship you. Bless us as we go into our groups. Help our conversations to honor you, to glorify you in everything that is said and done. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Yes.
said that a couple weeks ago. We said, how do you know when you're ready to date? First of all,